Taylor Swift's latest, The Life of a Showgirl, is out, and it's actually getting some backlash. Did she actually make a positive song about Blake Lively? We need to discuss. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Man, The Life of a Showgirl came out. She made lots of money, and fans are mixed. I gotta say, hardcore Swifties are seemingly loving this album, and I'll admit I liked it on my first listen, but I gotta be honest, this is the first album of hers where it's like been not as good the follow-up listens. It's not bad. I just wonder if anybody else had made this album like a complete rando, would people be actually gushing over it? No, they're gushing over it because it's Taylor Swift, and she's an immensely talented and respected singer who deserves her praise. I'm not going to deny any of that, but this album was overhyped. I'm going to say it. It was overhyped. There wasn't a single banger for me. There were some good songs, some catchy songs, but she said this was going to be bangers. I wanted another 1989 or Reputation, and this album was far from it. In fact, dare I say it, our I'm Not Your Dragon was a kind of more of a banger. It was missing something with that energy. And you can catch it on all streaming platforms. Go look up Popcorn Music, I'm Not Your Dragon. What if Taylor actually had made a diss track about Blake Lively? Back me up in the comments. This one is going to surprise you. It was way better than you expected it to be, didn't you? Now, let's talk about Blake Lively, because a lot of folks are out there saying, well, there isn't a diss track, but maybe it's a diss track. But actually, some, Perez and others, were out there saying it's actually a support track. This tune, Canceled, is definitely the one that I think most people assume is about Blake Lively. And some people assume it's sort of negative with its lyrics. I want to show you some of these lyrics. I actually disagree with a lot of this, because the way I look at this song, it's odd. I never thought I would see Taylor Swift writing a supporting canceled people song, which I do too, for the record. But as you go through this, yes, there are some clear things here that, make it seem like it's Blake. Like the Gucci, a good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in Scandal. I like my whiskey sour and poison thorny wilds. Welcome to my underworld where it gets dark. At least you know who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. Now that's sort of the lyrics that are in this that make it seem like she's supporting Blake. There's other takes on how you read these lyrics of, well, no, it's actually against. I don't think it's about Blake at all. And if anything, it might actually be about supporting Blake. I think some of these other theories that have come forward, and I specifically agree with this one, I think it's more about Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner, at this time of this album when it was recording, was facing that, as was Brittany Mahomes and others in Taylor's orbit, including Blake at first. You guys got to remember, this album was made over a year ago.
It's crazy to talk about this music. It's been a secret for over a year.
She's talked about it on multiple interviews. She's been out there talking about this album and how she made this album during the UK leg of her Eras tour, which would have been last summer. Or I guess not even before that. It was 2000. Yeah, it was the end. It was around the summer, right as the drama with Blake over the summer of It Ends With Us was happening. She was still on tour for the Eras tour, finishing out up in England. And she was going back and forth to Sweden to record this album during that period of a few months. She's talked about it in multiple interviews. This album, and all albums like this, take forever to make. So I personally, even though I know there's talks about a bracelet and stuff and some of the photo shoots, but all these photo shoots had to have been done last year or maybe early this year. I don't believe she could have done all this, come March of last year when all this was going on with Blake Lively, as we've seen with all the articles about Blake and how they've uncovered. It's always like April, May, even February when all the bad blood started happening because of the Dragon text. So personally, I think this album was made and was being finished up right as the bad blood happened. So I think the Blake Lively diss tracks would be on the next album. I think, as she's explained in these interviews, I don't think she had time to really incorporate a lot of Blake. And if she was able to incorporate anything, it might have been her supporting Blake a little bit due to all the stuff that was happening over the summer. But where the real beef surprisingly came in was with Charli XCX. Now, when I first heard her song, Simply Romantic, I was like, oh, wow, there's a beef with Charli XCX. I'm not a huge fan of hers. And I thought, okay, I kind of bought Taylor's sort of stuff. But then I spoke to my daughter, Valeria, shout out to Valeria, who educated me more on the TikTok generation and Charli XCX, who my daughter prefers more these days, the Brat era. I'm not a fan of Charli XCX music, but I understand why a new generation is, and maybe Taylor was coming after her because she knew it. I think this is a massive mistake on Taylor's part. Unless this is all an orchestrated beef on purpose, then kudos to the mastermind, and I will dob my hat and apologize and not believing it right out the gate. But I'm unsure because there's a seeming beef with Charli XCX, another singer, and Taylor Swift, because Charli XCX is dating the guitarist of the band of Matt Healy, who is Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend, who broke up spectacularly, wrote the Tortured Poets Society about, etc. And the Charli XCX song sort of started with a song she wrote about Taylor from Brat called "Sympathy is a Knife." And it shows her self-doubts, despite the album's exterior, that she's, insecure. She suffers from public pressure of the public opinion about her, etc. And there's a line in here. I don't want to share the space. I don't want to force a smile. This one girl taps my insecurities. Don't know if it's real or if I'm spiraling. One voice tells me they laugh. George says I'm being paranoid. That's her boyfriend. Says he doesn't see it. He's so naive. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I need the sympathy. That this is all supposedly about Taylor Swift. The whole song, though, if you really look at it, don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show. Fingers crossed behind my back. I hope they break up quick. Because I couldn't even be her if I tried. Why? I'm the opposite of the other side. I feel all these things I can't control. Oh no, don't know why. All this sympathy is just a knife. Why can't I grit my teeth and lie? Why all these feelings I can't control? She's sort of really putting it all out there. Honestly, I don't see this as a diss on Taylor Swift. But I guess Taylor Swift seemingly did because she wrote the song Actually Romantic. I heard you called me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave. Now everyone's saying this is about Charli XCX. Even my daughter's like, oh yeah, she uses, and that's about Charli. It's a shot. High-fived my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. It's not really what she did. Some people might be offended, but it's actually sweet. All the time you've spent on me, it's honestly wild. All the effort you've put in, it's actually romantic. I really got to hand it to you. No man has ever loved me like you do. Yikes. I thought this was supposed to be a love album about Travis. How many times has your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her? It's actually romantic. No man has ever loved me like this. I mind my business, God my witness. It's kind of making me wet. All this flirting with her. Look, now that I know the full backstory, this song is cringe. And as Pitchfork labeled it, I got to agree with them. It sounds like a Kids Bop version of the Pixies' Where Is My Mind. I can't unhear it. I can't hear it. I now really dislike the song Actually Romantic, knowing that this beef is so petty and unnecessary. And it's sort of releasing a version of Taylor that I'm just not a fan of. And that goes all the way back to when Taylor took credits for a yelling bridge that was inspired by her Cruel Summer. I never noticed it. And Olivia Rodrigo, being green as she was and a huge Swiftie, Taylor took writing credit and residuals from her second hit song, Deja Vu. So that's really important because I always thought this was unnecessary. Taylor didn't need to do it. She could have been the better person here. But man, the tables have turned. Taylor is now, sorry, I went ahead. Before I get there, we're going to get there in a second. I skipped the most important part. Taylor is now being accused of ripping off. Look at this. So far, there's 9 references, one of which is her own, but like 8 or 7 songs are seemingly ripping off the melody of a bunch. And the first one is the most egregious by far. She ripped off the Jonas Brothers' Cool. Here's this little sample. The hook is the same. The tempo is the same. Jonas Brothers, she used to date them. Well, Joe, I think it was Joe. Yeah, she dated Joe. So anyway, this is wild. This is wild. And now reports are saying, yes, it does resemble the song, but they won't pick a fight. Why? Why won't they pick a fight? Shouldn't they pick a fight? You didn't pick a fight with Olivia. You picked the fight. You took the money. But now, what are you going to bully the Jonas Brothers into getting their residuals when you clearly, accidentally, I assume, took this credit? Now, on to that. So this is causing some backlash. It is. That besides the fact that there's a lot of mixed reviews on this album from non-diehard Swifties and some hardcore Swifties were like, yeah, it's not my favorite of hers. After all the hype that she put out there in the New Heights podcast, etc., there's a lot of people who are sort of getting a little, and then came this. She cash grabbed again. Now she does this a lot, and typically I'm like, whatever, get your bag, girl. If you can get it, get it. But she's not only did she like put all of her YouTube content in a movie like a weekend early, and then she dropped it all on the video and everything that was exclusive Sunday night after her fans paid whatever it was, $15 to go see it in theaters. She then, the second day of release, basically released 4 more versions of her album, each with 2 new songs, 2 new bonus tracks. So 4 new CDs at full price that you have to buy to get. So that's what you have to buy 4 versions of this, but like it's more, $15. You just have to spend another $60 to buy her album 4 more times to get the 8 bonus tracks that she could have just put on a Life of an Acoustic Showgirl album that everyone could have bought. No, she doesn't want to make it, cheaper for her fans. She wants to milk them because she then gets to get her fans buy 9 versions of this album because she released 5 different versions of it before it was out. And now it's out. Now she's releasing 4 more with bonus tracks suddenly. She's spacing it out to get more and more cash from her audience. And look, if they'll pay for it, I guess, who am I to judge? But it's starting to really look a little greedy. I can't deny it. It's starting to look like blatant cash grabs. Now, if her fans are going to buy it, so be it. But I think all these little moves, the stealing from Olivia Rodrigo, like it's enough to not pick a fight with the Jonas Brothers when she should. And then this just Charli XCX beef, which to me actually doesn't play the way I think she thinks it's going to play. Unless this is some sort of brilliant, we're going to do a beef, because now reports are that she's in the studio, Charli XCX. This was literally yesterday. She posted this song, this noise in the studio, Heart Noise, which now everyone's like, oh my gosh, is this going to be like the Kendrick and Drake beef, but for girls, and everyone picking their sides? And it's like, if this was all orchestrated ahead of time, then brilliant. But if not, and Taylor really did decide to go take swipes at Charli, that makes me like her even less. It's just more and more piling. And again, look, I'm still a Swiftie. I love her music. Nothing's going to stop me from loving her music. But no one is too big to fail. No one. Now, she's got a big enough audience that she'll never be, poor or unpopular. But Taylor, be careful, man. It's fun up there. You're happy and on top. But a lot of people are like, since she doesn't have Heartbreak anymore, is her music going to be as good? This album, not her best. And I've really listened to it a bunch, and I am a Swiftie, and I really like Taylor. I do. I will always. And I appreciate and respect her hustle and her business acumen. But be careful. Be careful. Don't fly too close to the sun, to use all your literary references. Fans might eventually get fed up. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, smash that thumbs up. What do you think? What did you think of the album? What do you think of the Blake Lively track? Do you really think it's a knock? Or do you agree with me that there was no way she could have addressed all this in time to get the record out? Let me know your thoughts and stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.